rounded.
All right, kid. Fun one. Leafs win 4-1. Beat a good Jets team. That was not the game I was expecting.
Yeah. In my notes, number one note, extremely disappointed in lack of grease. First note.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be chippy. Maybe we should have known when Wayne Simmons wasn't in the lineup that everything was going to be okay. That it wasn't going to be a fight. It wasn't going to be a fight night. But yeah, it was a bit of a different one. Weird game, okay? Like obviously a ton of things to hit on. A couple of massive positives for the Leafs, probably bigger than any kind of negative. But they basically played one period tonight and got away with it.
Mm-hmm. The second period?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Jets kind of had a weird dip in their sort of conditioning, or they looked a little tired or something in the second period where I texted you and it just felt like they kind of got burned on a couple plays where, Scheifele obviously off the face-off, that wasn't one. But then on the second goal, I don't know who it was, but they were just dead tired, didn't get back, let Matthews walk into the slot wide open. And then it happened again wide open. And then they give one up on the PK for a shorty. So I thought they just looked a little bit tired, a little bit disjointed in the second period, and the Leafs took advantage. But yeah, I think that's a pretty fair observation that they played one period and got the win.
Yeah, but okay. The thing is that, and I've been saying this over and over again, but I'll continue to say it. There's nothing special about Toronto outside of their top stars. The team is built completely on the stars, and when they play like that, you can get away with things. Like that's supposed to be your difference maker. And tonight, what was it? It's Austin Matthews scoring a couple of just gorgeous goals. Should have had a hat trick, was really right on top of it. Michael Bunting making some plays. William Nylander playing well. I thought that the second line was actually pretty quiet tonight, other than Marner's, shorthanded goal, but didn't feel like a real imposing game from Tavares, I would say, especially. But yeah, Marner rips what I think is his most beautiful shot of the year, and the Leafs end up winning. But okay, I want to start with Samsonov, because we'll get into Matthews in a second. I do want to get a little bit more into a Marner note that I have and some stuff on Bunting, because I do have Leaf star talk tonight. But is this Samsonov's net right now? Because that's a season high, 37 saves. He was brilliant. That's I've said this now a few times, Sam, and this is why I'm asking the question. I think that Samsonov is playing his best hockey of the season right now. He's strung together a couple of games here. I know that it's lowly Detroit, but do you remember you and I talking about him in those starts, how he was making 10-bell saves routinely in that game? Then he steps in for Matt Murray against the Panthers, and he's tall, he's big. He allows them to kind of get back in the game. And then tonight, the first period, roll the pack of his first period saves. These weren't even his best ones of the night, but he just kept them in it. So let me just ask you, as the pack's running, is it his net right now?
Yeah, I guess, right? As much as if any point of the season, if you're going to decidedly say that this, as much as it's just 1A, 1B, it's whoever gets hot at the right period of time, whoever plays well. I don't think even in the front office or even on the coaching staff, they're willing to really give it to anyone. I don't think he's the goalie that's playing better right now, but there's pretty clear that the plan is to not have one of these guys play more than 2 or 3 games in a row. Has it happened yet this year outside of injury? No, I think Samsonov's playing better right now. Absolutely. Yeah. Murray's had a couple stinkers in a row, especially the game against the Cats where he gets pulled. But to me, he's playing better of the two goaltenders right now, but it's not anyone's net definitively. Sure, he's playing better. Maybe it's semantics, but
we've already done this. I've discussed it with you that they're not, come playoff time, either of these guys could be in the net. It's going to be up and down all season long. But it's been pretty clear that the formula's been one guy's getting more games than the other, and that guy has been Matt Murray when he's healthy. The question is it going to flip now where you just say, hey, yeah, 1A, 1B, but this guy's going to be the 1A, and he's going to play a few more games. Murray's going to play a few less.
Yeah, I think they'll probably flip it here. I think they're pretty concerned about the sports science of this and the 15 people they have in that department and the sleep doctors and all the different chefs and everybody. They probably all have a big meeting about these guys playing too many games in a row and
put that now. Pardon? I'm on the Stan Van Gundy thing right now. Him and KD, they said it right the other day on Twitter. You see that?
Yeah, of course. There's just we always joke about this on Kipper and Borney. There's just there's so many people that work in the front office that they have to justify giving money to. So they only have to have a 25 person meeting every time they want to give a goalie more than 2 starts in a row. But to me, like, they're not going to, like, sure, I think obviously Sammy gets the start on Saturday night against Montreal. I think that's a pretty obvious spot to give him. They played great tonight. It's 2 good performances in a row, including the one where he bails out Murray against the Panthers. But then I think it's pretty obvious that you'd, like, if he's not really good, then you just go back to Murray on Monday against the Islanders. Like, I don't think there's any. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so you think that, like, essentially the leash is nothing, which I think I agree with. But the point I guess I'm just trying to make is I think that he's the guy that's going to get the tougher games here, or like the more frequent games. And here's the big one. So they got that Boston game coming up February 1st.
Wednesday night.
If it's going the way that it's been right now, like, there's no question who's in net for that game. It's Samsonov.
Who was in net when they played them the first time? Was that a Källgren night, or was that one of the backup nights? I can't remember who it was. So you've seen Murray.
I think that actually was a Samsonov game.
Oh, it was. It's because
Marchand
tore his knee in that game with the backhand deke. So it was Samsonov, and then Källgren came in relief, and then they went with the 2 backup goalies for a long period of time with Petruzzelli and whatever. But so to me, it's pretty obvious that you're circling it and you're giving it to Samsonov if he's playing this way. But I have to be honest with you. Like, I really don't have any faith, really. Like, I know Samsonov's playing great, but, like, it's been so unpredictable, man. Like, I don't want to look that far ahead. It's such a night to night basis with these guys. Like, I really don't know what I'm going to get. So I'm happy with what I'm happy with. I said I don't want to look too far ahead.
No, I don't mean the question though. When I say, is it his net? Like, is it his net for the season? It's pretty clear that these 2 guys,
for sure.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that these 2 guys are going to go back and forth. No, I actually think Murray gets the net Saturday against Montreal. Like, I'm going Murray for Saturday night, get him back in the net. But then when you get back into the hard games, that Islanders game on the Monday, and then potentially the Rangers game on the Wednesday, maybe you're running him out there 2 in a row. Like, basically all I'm asking here is he playing well enough to you where you're messing with your goalie rhythm to the point to, like, accommodate his hot play a little bit more? That's what I think, like, having the net is for Leafs. So that's it. So then, because tonight was like
hand here, baby. Gotta.
Yeah. Tonight was as good as the Leafs goalies played all year. Like, I think if once we get let me get the Clearview analytics on Leafs goalie tonight, that was the best game of the season that they've had. 37 saves against a really good Jets team.
There's
a couple of penalties.
There's been 2 better ones, and Murray has them both. The game against Dallas, where I think
you know what you're talking about. Disagree vehemently.
Where he had the shutout. What was it? 45 saves, unbelievable night. And then the game against Nashville where he outdueled Saros. I think were both better performances than tonight. Yeah. It was a great game. It was an absolutely great game. Like, I mean, this is completely subjective. I know.
I just think that the saves that Samsonov made tonight in the first to keep them in it, and then the saves that he made in the third specifically were, like, just incredibly athletic saves. And this has been sort of my contention with Samsonov.
He's a flashy tendy, buddy. He gets you feeling good, gets the loins going. Like, the way he's flying around in there when he's locked in, the way the pads are flying, the upper body, not a whole lot of movement, just like he's really square, athletic. You can see the pedigree. You can see why this guy's a first-round pick. It's a pretty sexy style of goalie. And I mean, you know what the other side looks like, but when it's hot, you got to ride it.
Yeah, I just think, like, clearly for him, confidence is a major thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've heard that all along. And right now he's playing with extreme confidence. And so to me, like, I'm not trying to accommodate that if I'm them. There was one, it's funny, like, it was not even close to his best save. Like, it wasn't even a top 5 save for him tonight.
I know exactly
but I think
what you're say.
The glove save off
Kyle Connor, like, where he stared him down.
Just stared him down, ripped it out of the sky, just stared it down and like held it. And I went, whew, that felt good for him. Like, he snagged that and he felt good. He felt awesome. And I did too, watching it. I was fired up for him. I went, dude, that felt amazing. You just ripping that out of the sky like that. That's a guy who can easily score 40 goals. And he like tried you there and you completely denied him. Best on best, you with a clear look at him with a clear look at the net. You were the better guy. Anyway, I just thought that he was everywhere tonight. He he covered the net beautifully. The athleticism showed up. The confidence was there. I love too that on the penalty kill that he was getting the paddle involved. That's when he was like heat checking, or he's like sticking the paddle behind the net trying to break up plays. I'm like, this guy is throwing everything.
He's feeling it.
He was feeling himself big time. Splashy saves, everything. So yeah, you're right. Probably one bad game, Sammy. One really great game for Matt Murray could flip it right back on its ear. But as of right now, I think that this is now 4 games in a row where Samsonov has been pretty awesome, even though the stats don't reflect that for one of the Detroit games. I think he's my guy for right now. Austin Matthews.
And I completely agree.
Yeah. Speaking of like really great games, it was just so great to see him do his thing, which is snap the puck into the back of the net. Not like cheapies, not just power play ones, just even strength. Him with a little bit of space and time, ripping it by arguably the best goalie in the NHL.
So, okay, I don't want to get too scatterbrain here. So I'll start with Matthews. Looked great. But Connor Hellebuck, obviously really good goalie, right? Like going to be one of the Vezina finalists probably at the end of this year. I don't really have a lot of fear of him. Feels like the Leafs light him up every time they play him. Like, is there honestly? I guess maybe it's from the bubble season where they played him all the time. But it's like, he's one of the best goalies in the league. It's like, Leafs scored 5 again. Matthews going bar down on him every game. Like, maybe it's just because the Leafs are really sick. But like, I don't necessarily like when I go into a game against Hellebuck. It's not like Vasilevsky or even Jake Ottinger or Saros or like whatever. Like to me, it's just it's got another goalie in the league. I don't really have a lot of fear of him. But Matthews,
I hear you out on that, but I don't agree. Like if you think about the 3 goals he let in tonight, it's like 2 clean looks from the guy who's been the best goal scorer on earth for the last 6.
Every time.
What?
I'm like, that's going in. I'm like, when Matthews is 1-on-1 with Hellebuck, I'm like, that's going in the net. He owns him.
Okay.
What's that, 11 goals on him in 18 games? Absolutely owns him. He just shoots it by him all the time.
Yeah, he's got him. Maybe there's something with the USA connects here.
Bing, like no chance. That's a wrister from the middle of the circle.
No, that's one where like Hellebuck probably looks at it and he's like, I wish I had it, but it's a pretty perfect shot. Anyway, I hear what you're saying because he's dominated him. So why would you have the same fear? I thought that Hellebuck in the first period though to start this game, like it was zeros and like Leafs completely got outplayed in the first. I thought it was just Winnipeg. I texted you. Winnipeg looked massive in that first. And I'm like looking up their guys going, boy, it's nice to have a lot of forwards who are 6'3" and up. They got 6 guys in their forward group that are 6'3" and up. Most of them 6'4". And I just thought Hellebuck, though, made a couple of like really good saves on a couple of dangerous plays in the first 2 and let them kind of dominate. But yeah, okay. So yeah, I just that's like honestly, that's all I really have, man, is Matthews looked awesome tonight. He has these 2 goals. But to me specifically, it was the way that he scored those 2 goals, which is just classic Austin Matthews ripping it by one of the league's best goaltenders, where it's like you look helpless, and then he does the classic Matthews Jesus pose thing, where like that's a real confidence sign from him. Oh my
God, that's such a nice shot.
That's disgusting.
And
like that's a disgusting shot.
His best buddy there, Pierre-Luc Dubois, with the absolute fire poker on defense, the Sam McKee beer league level defense, the old 2-stride poke the stick out to make it look like you're doing something. Not pretty from Pierre-Luc Dubois, who I thought was pretty bad tonight. Didn't really notice him a whole lot. Like all their guys who are usually greasy just didn't seem that necessarily engaged in that way. Like, did they have a big team party?
Connor, I thought looked
for sure, but he's not like one of their greasy guys. Like, I mean, like they usually have their guys
like
that
their
are
physical play. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, did they have a big party last night in Toronto or something? They just seemed like they didn't necessarily have that part of their game dialed in. I guess they kind of dominated the Leafs in the first period. So maybe that's, I don't know. Just didn't seem like they were up for the fight.
They're such a weird team, right? Because every year it always feels like they're on the verge of breaking up. You know, like their whole team is going to be gone and all their guys, the dysfunction and stripping guys of captaincies and Pierre-Luc Dubois, Kippers out here saying, like I want out of here immediately. Like it's like, and then you look at them and you go, wow, they're really big and they got a bunch of guys who are scary and they've got Josh Morrissey, who's amazing, and then a goaltender who you're not afraid of, but the rest of the world is. And you go, like that's pretty, like the Jets. It's just. You're right. It just if they feel very cyclical in terms of where they're at as a franchise. But I did like Matthews a lot tonight, and not only just like the goal scoring, which I think breeds the confidence, but 2 major plays, and I don't know if this ended up getting them, but one's in the first here. Yeah,
This play here
this is
looks like
not the block shot. This was before. This was the first period that causes a breakout where it's like it's just a reminder of all the things this guy does in terms of being one of the best defensive forwards in the NHL right now. Like comes across, makes a play, makes sure that his teammate gets one, and then this is the block shot right after. It's like boom, commitment, man. Like gets that. I haven't actually seen him do that one before. Like I can't remember that one. Yeah, you're cringing. You don't want to see it, but I love it.
Maybe don't turn your wrists wide open to a guy about to shoot the.
Yeah,
like,
the
that's
wrist,
a guy that's never blocked a shot before. Like, hey,
yeah,
maybe close off those wrists. Look at that.
I didn't notice it in watching it live, but watching it right now, it's like he's like, please break my wrists.
But kudos to him for getting down to make that play. And look at this one. Like he was absolutely feeling it with the puck tonight. And he had a play in the first period that he kind of went in with the 2-on-1 with Rielly. And I actually had like a flashback to his rookie year where they used to do that play all the time where he'd bring the puck up, find Nylander out on the half wall. Nylander gains his zone and Matthews goes straight to the net with the stick on the ice and he finds him with the sauce. And they did it tonight. Hellebuck made a great save on it, but like he just really looked like himself. And you have to look back to last week, him kind of sitting those two games. I don't know what's ailing him, but I guess it's a week. Well, how many games off did he have? How many days off did he have in between games? Like, no, but was it like a full week that he would have had off? Because they would have played Saturday and then Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday again. So yeah, it would have been a full week that he had off. Still concerns me a little bit like that. There's something going on with him. And I know he looks great again, but like, what's the other side of this? I guess that's just my sort of my doom.
It's so funny because we're so on the opposite ends of this. Like my perception watching him is, boy, this is why you do the load management in a regular season where nothing matters. And this should be a lesson to them that like, we've said it a million times. It's not even really worth like bringing it up constantly, but this regular season stinks, right? It's fun watching the Leafs play this well, but being locked in for an entire season to just playing Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm. There was a week this year where Detroit was in the third spot. And I was like, oh, maybe. It's like, no, they suck.
It's
See you later.
It's the dumbest. It's the dumbest, most ridiculous thing on planet Earth right now. Honestly, it's so incredibly brain dead. And if they had a commissioner who could capitulate at all, who could ever admit that maybe he had not all the best ideas all the time, they would have already fixed this sucker. But no, they're going to do it. But one of the benefits of this is your team's awesome. Get a look at some other players, give some other guys some added ice time, and rest the guys that need it. Don't make when TJ Brody comes back, he's been beat up this year. Don't put him through hell. When TJ Brody does come back, or if they add a blue liner, give Giordano the odd night off. I know he's a horse, and I know he loves to play, and he's just he doesn't look like he's slowing down any. And I talked about it with Versteeg again, a buddy of his, where he's just like, no man, this guy's just an animal. He's a freak. He needs to play, but no. Figure out a night where Tavares gets a blow. Give him a night off. Let him do whatever it is.
Absolutely.
What do you think Tavares does with his free time, other than family?
Reads books about hockey. Maybe watches lacrosse videos. Like I don't know.
You give Tavares a full week off. A full week off where he doesn't have to do stuff with his family. Like his wife and child decide, like, we're going on a road trip. You got to do something on your own. I feel like he's the Pablo Escobar meme where he's just like alone on the swing, alone staring off into the distance, alone in the chair. Like that's all he's doing. He's just waiting for that week to be over so he can go back to playing hockey.
He'd go see a movie and then his wife would call him. He's like, how's the movie? Honey, obviously it was a tremendous movie. Really loved the popcorn. They did an excellent job. Like they did an excellent job at the theater. Yeah. Obviously tremendous movie. Yeah. Colin Farrell was excellent.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Really big fan of his. I'd love to meet him someday. Yeah, that's 100% it. Anyway, loved Matthews tonight, but you're right. Maybe don't block the shot with the wrist, but load management's working. Last observation for me in terms of things that really matter from this game. I got a couple of minor ones, but thought it was again another big Bunting night. 2 goals. It's like who's going back there? The first goal that he sets up Matthews, like he's doing the classic Hyman go out and dig it and throw it out in front of the net. And then secondarily,
and the first one, he makes a great read off the wall, right off of the face off, comes to him, kind of a spinning no-look pass right onto the tape of Matthews, who obviously does the rest and makes Scheifele look extremely stupid with that dangle. But this is what his role was with Bunting, right? Like, this is exactly what he was always sort of meant to do, and what he was best at last year, when he's best this year, is when he's facilitating the star players, and he's doing it beautifully right now. So just another example of that.
I really haven't. You know that I've been frustrated in the past with Bunting's diving and some of the theatrics, right? Like,
been less of that.
That's what I mean. But also, it's been a good week for him. It's been just an overall good couple of months from the goal scoring standpoint, playmaking, really establishing himself as this team's fifth forward, right? Like, no doubt about it, he's the fifth guy right now, until the chosen one, Matthew Nye, shows up, or they end up making a trade for your guy, Timo Meier. But even then, we'll see. But I love that he was digging pucks out. Love that he's making plays. Love the chemistry as his line mates. But I also just like that he's the dude on the bench that's barking at Scheifele when Scheifele was complaining about the quick whistle, and he's just telling him, you could read lips. Like, we got that tape pretty easy. You don't need the John Boy breakdown for this one. This is pretty clear as day what he was saying to Scheifele after Liljegren. Scary play for Liljegren. That's too bad. Like, that anytime puck goes up like that. What? Yeah.
He came back. He's sitting on the bench. So can I?
No, but I'm just saying it was a scary play in the moment. Like, you just hate seeing like the guy go down from the puck. But yeah, Scheifele has that, and then. But I just love that Bunting's barking at him. And the other night, he grabs a body, sticking up for Matthews. It's been a good little stretch for Bunting from like a variety of different standpoints. And I do think that he has that like compete, that he's just got that different gear that I don't think everybody on this team has all the time that he can tap into. It's really easy for him to do it. And I think there's an added value to guys like that on this Leafs team, especially guys that are in the top six.
For sure. No question, what he brings to the team is incredibly important right now. Like, he's a huge member, and give Kyle Dubas credit. They're getting incredible value out of what they're signed him for. He is just, could we have to blank that out? He is just MFing Scheifele. Like that. And guess what? I get it from Scheifele's perspective. It's like the puck.
Here's what he says: loser, shut up. All the rest is F-bombs.
Yeah, every single other word is F-bomb. But like, Scheifele's standing right there. The puck hit him in the crown of the helmet. He knows that. Yeah. That's why he's pissed. It's like they have offensive zone time. He thinks he went down easy. He thinks he's kind of faking it, and he's pissed off. Like, I get why it's like, what do you expect him to have sympathy for the guy? Like, it hit him in the helmet. Like, I understand why Scheifele was pissed off, and I also understand why Bunting was MFing him. I like it from both sides.
I'm not picking a side. I just like that Bunting is that guy
for sure who's
in the mix for it.
Yeah,
that he's just barking, and he's yelling at the guy on the other end. Anyway, I had Tucker on my podcast today, and we were talking about like this exact thing where, it's the passion for the game sometimes is not like the way that, let's just say, it used to be. The grind of the season is very different, but there are certain guys that still have it where they're tapped into that, and Bunting's one of them, and I absolutely love it.
Absolutely.
Any other notes from you? I got like one other quick thing.
I just had, so you know that meme on the internet, the Nightmare Blunt rotation.
Nightmare Blunt rotation?
Yeah, it's like, you're like back in the days when people used
I don't think I know.
Oh, okay, never mind. Anyways, it's like a thing on the internet. It was like people will tweet out like 3 different pictures of people, be like Nightmare Blunt rotation. If it's like some comment of like, I can't believe you haven't seen this.
I can't think of, send it to me later.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyways, it just jumped into my mind when it was David Camp, Pierre Engvall, and Alex Kerfoot on a 3-on-1. I was like, if I could pick the 3 guys in the league I would least want to have on a 3-on-1, those might be the guys. So it made me feel very dumb for not knowing what I'm talking about. I thought for sure you would know that, but anyways, we can continue.
I'll tell you right now is I thought our boy Camp had a tough night. Wasn't great. His inability to clear the puck on the penalty kill. It's 3-on-1, or sorry, a 5-on-3. So everybody's kind of expecting the Leafs give one up, but he had a chance, like wide open to clear the
on
puck.
His stick, and it must have
rolled
it out. Something.
Yeah, and doesn't do it. I'd like to see the other angle, because the one that we had, I'm just like, what'd you do? You just like bobble it, and then I just thought in the first there were guys getting to the net that like normally he takes
his line
away.
Got caved in the first period.
Yeah, like he didn't do a very good job at like his role, which you don't see too often. But boy, just another like hilarious Engvall night where it's just like 0 contact plays, falling down, wide open misses, horrific turnover in the third that almost like completely swung the game. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to belabor this. It was a moon jail night for me. I was like, please put this guy in moon jail.
Belabor.
Like, I'm begging you.
What? I'll belabor. Yeah. One of the notes I wrote down is Pierre Turnback Engvall is back.
Yeah.
Over the last few games, I don't know if it's because it's the physical sort of nature of the games and he's feeling the contact or whatever, but there's been multiple times over the last 3 games where he did it again tonight a couple times where he did the signature turn back and then he fights with it for a second, kind of beats it to a square. Guys like lifting his stick a little bit. It happened when he turned it over. We don't need to get into the future and the trade deadline.
No,
but
we've made our opinion very clear.
There you go. I just needed to belabor the turn back situation.
My only other thing is a positive. Listen, Morgan Rielly's playing better all of a sudden, and I think a lot of it has to do with Liljegren because Liljegren is really good. Yeah. And there's a couple things about Liljegren that, like, we all know he can go north, right, with the puck. Like, that's just he can do that. He can dance the line. He can snap a pass. Those are very clear. But the things that just keep impressing me about Liljegren are, I've said this one before, the way that he plays along the boards, which is like pretty tough. Like he's not a pushover on the boards. Like puck battles, he'll engage in them. He'll win a lot of them. But the other one is the way he defends on the rush, dude. Like he can really do it. He's really good at it. And yeah, I think that, to be honest, that he's getting a little overrated by the fan base in general lately, where like people are starting to write sonnets about the guy, but he's really good. And I don't think that the Rielly turnaround with him is a coincidence. Like, yeah, sure, he was playing with Connor Timmins before, so that's a pretty big upgrade. But it's like, yeah, Liljegren is good, like really, really, really good at. Like, I don't really know what the hole is in his game.
So going into the Florida game, he was leading the Leafs by a lot in goal share at 5-on-5. Like he is on the ice for way more. I think it's like at 60-something%. That was going into the Florida game. I haven't seen it since then, but like he is a very important guy for them. And there's no way it's a coincidence. It's been Rielly's 2 best games that he's played since he's come back. I guess you could draw the parallel between him getting healthier, getting back into the rhythm, getting his confidence back. Those are all fine things to point to. But you put him with the guy who's been playing the best on the right side. You put him with him, and he has his 2 best games. To me, there's a pretty clear core. So to me, I want to see this get some more run for like a long period of time here. Like give this a couple weeks. Like, and I know Sandin, you can make him eat it with whoever on the bottom pair or whatever, sure. But that's just, I think that's kind of the breaks for Sandin. Liljegren shoots right. He's sort of surpassed you in the development. Like I think Sandin's really good too. And he has he's an important part of the team, but the importance for Liljegren versus Sandin, it's like Liljegren has earned this chance big time and he's taken it and run with it. So I got to see I would like to see this for an extended period of time, maybe a few more games, maybe another couple weeks.
It's kind of funny because if you remember last year when they tried Liljegren with Rielly, it was such a disaster that Keefe was awful. Like,
and Sandin they tried with Rielly too, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it was. Hey, we're never doing that again.
Yeah, that was Sandin that he said that with.
Oh, it was Sandin? Okay, my bad. I thought it was Liljegren. No, you're right. Liljegren had a little bit of a decent run. It was Sandin that he had that with. But with Liljegren, last year he had those incredible analytics that really supported his play, and we did this whole debate about what he was, and I don't think he was ready for this team last year, and there's a reason why he got pulled from the playoffs. But right now, it's just like I have a very difficult time seeing him get removed. It feels like they did tell him to get stronger and that he was going to have to be more engaged with his play in his own end, and he's just really taken that. And now, like, I thought the numbers last year, if you looked at them, they were incredibly sheltered. They were a lot of offensive zone. They were a lot of playing with this team's incredible forwards. You forget how dominant the Leafs forwards were last year from an offensive standpoint. Exactly. It was not. They were kind of stilted numbers. They were really propped up by what the other guys around him were doing, in my opinion. This year, it's really not that. This year, like that, you're saying like he's number one in expected goals for, and I go, yeah, I could see that. Like I could absolutely see
goals
that.
For while he's on the ice at 5-on-5, like
Yeah,
actual goals scored.
Yeah, actual ones. Well, because I was gonna say I do know Brody is in terms of like the elevator of a pairing. He's still obviously been number one for this team. Like you look at all three that he's been with.
You mentioned Brody.
But yeah.
Before I forget, when he comes back, I think you still stick with Rielly and Liljegren and you try Sandin and Brody. Have they ever played together?
I can't remember them playing together.
Because Brody plays on the right side, right?
Yeah.
So then I just would be so like it's tinkering.
I don't think that's enough minutes for Brody. That doesn't. It's tinkering, but it's like I don't want to have three pairings of everybody playing even minutes. I think that unfortunately, like you go back to not unfortunately, but like you go back to what was working before, like and what is tried to be true.
I guess I'm just looking for different things to talk about with the team. It's like give me a try.
You got to bump Giordano back down and start to shelter his minutes, and then I think you go back to. I think if this Liljegren thing works with Rielly the way it's been working, you could stick with that, but then you're going back to Brody Hall and then Giordano Sandin with your bottom pairing and sheltering those guys more.
Right.
Anyway, let's wrap up. Saturday night, I'm back in with Bourne. Again, it's not live, but it'll be up right away. So subscribe to the podcast, leave 5 stars. Sammy's in Owen Sound,
baby. Hockey Day in Canada. Yeah. I've been seeing all I wish I was there right now, to be honest. Like I really wish I had planned this better. Like all the events going on, it's just all my worlds are colliding. Jeff Merrick's on stage talking about me at the place I got married at a live podcast. Like it's just like all my worlds are colliding. I should be up there.
You gotta love the man who's literally just taken off like time for his wedding, time for his honeymoon.
I would have worked.
And then you're like, I should be down taking more time to be at the festivities.
Yeah. There's this thing since COVID called remote work. I should have just planned it out better where I worked it from up there and I did my show or whatever. I wish I was up there. I'm going to be up there on Friday, going up tomorrow. It's going to be sick. Really excited to see the community. They're all fired up. So I'm excited.
So it's funny that they're recording the podcast in the place where, you held your wedding session.
Yeah.
Because I just see the pictures and I'm like, what are you guys doing there? It's a very, very different crowd for the podcast.
The barbell is a little cheaper.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different atmosphere though. Your wedding and the 32 Thoughts pod crowd.
What a night! What a night!
It was very, very nice. Get up there. You'll have fun. It's cool too. Like I talked to Darcy Tucker today, who's up there, and I know what those days mean to small towns and how awesome it is. And so, I'm really excited for everybody that's there. I'm excited for you that you get to go see it, be a part of it, and you get to be a little local celeb now. Maybe you'll get spotted in the streets.
I'm going to the Attack game on Saturday night. They're taking on the Peterborough Petes, who are a bit of a wagon right now. Puck drop at 6:45. Thanks, Hockey Day in Canada. Weirdest puck drop time ever. Got to get dinner reservations for 5:00 so I can make it in time. But gonna be in the crowd, crunching the best fries in the OHL, drinking a couple OVs, having a best time ever.
You gotta text Fuda and get the star treatment.
Nah, I was gonna go up there, blend in, have fun time in my hometown.
All right. Do your thing. All right.
I don't
subscribe
need a star treatment. Come on now.
Yeah, you could get a little bit of A+ treatment. This guy says he doesn't want the star treatment. I've never met anybody that takes more star treatment than you, buddy. Leave 5 stars. Subscribe to the podcast. Share it. Twitter and Instagram. Do all those different things. Follow at JD Bunkus, at Sam A. McKee. And share the videos when you see them. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you Saturday night.